historically been soft on crime, not just in big cities.
Clearly not for you. You disagree with all this.
Have completely lost faith in the ability.
Well, I don't agree with the methodology either. Matter of fact, let's go back and have a conversation about that this morning. Ted, we'll come back here. Now, for the most part, I'm starting to see some better stuff. I mean, Kudlow in his older age, he's getting up in there, and boy, if he's the kind of one you want to have turn, really honestly, but you kind of wish that the younger guy would get in here, would just step in for the fucking mayor seat, right? And which comes up to a problem later. See, when I'm playing in 8 hours, hopefully I gave you guys a good detail, show you some numbers, mini-max, and some hedge stuff, some stuff about medics. There's some real deep double phase stuff going down in there that you got to watch out for. And I talked to Ted. I'd be like, Ted, I have an 8-hour course set up from you for yesterday. Just have the guys go through it, have some learning on what blockchain responsibilities are inside here.
So we've been telling you for months about the mayhem.
Every once in a while, I'll catch one with crime rates. It's like, I want to fix you. I would like to fix you, Tucker. And this guy, cowboy right here.
Defund police all across America.
You don't own that region. Your seat's not in it unless you own it in the stock market, because later they'll talk about at Freeport there, or Dalport, or Portland, wherever it is, they come in there and raided the news studio along with some of the other ones. Now go figure, Sharps. Go figure, Sharps. Why? Now, again, I would like you to do that job. I would really like you to be pissed for the reasons why this job is like this, but obviously something in those commands down there were wrong. They were off. We missed. Nobody was getting the idea, apparently, inside here, and the up top say knock it down a little bit. With that said, there's still some weird shit going on with Russia other than just a Cold War for what Ukraine is doing. If you watched it, look at a Ukraine soldier, Russian soldier, American soldier, you're in Ukraine. Obviously, the politicians are fucked inside of here. Now, why wouldn't they want to do that, especially considering how over-leveraged the market is right now, but want to bitch about freedom? The Brit over there yesterday with a bad attitude, I want to backhand. Same thing with Tucker sometimes about talking about these times. Now, Tucker, you're right in there. You're right in on the money while dealing with, like, the senators, the mayors, because they fucked this up. I'm on your side for that. I think that they did, and I think if you look at it for what it was across the board, that money turn on this thing coming over says it was always your number. You weren't listening to something in the crowd if you were a newscaster owning this territory. So what would you do? You'd pull the police. That's the only way to long game this in the short. A lot of people get hurt. Nobody listened. And then they want to turn around and bitch. Because of the market on this one?
The opposite effect. In June of 2020, the Minneapolis City Council had, quote, unanimously approved a resolution declaring the intent to create a transformative.
I agree that when you get there with the policy, the bones on the policy, fantastic. And they look great. And they actually look pretty good. You get into the meat on those bones, Lightfoot, come on now. You would, obviously, bones in the office, you keep her ass in the office, and when somebody gets weird, you dunk them in the office with that. Oh, then they get famous, and they get in this, like, that kind of shit that you didn't really fill your skill sets. You didn't, like, you really should be a mayor or a governor. And because that doesn't happen, then they'll come around and bitch and do it. And what winds up happening? You'd have to shut down the police. You'd have to restaff it because they have bad policy. They probably were being some racist groups, not all cops. And it's just a region where they have high probability to it. People talk shit to each other constantly all the time. Not the right psychology training for it or something like that. And I'm not saying you need to do $1 worth of fucking psychology training. That's a box with a coach and somebody who knows what the fucking kettle looks like outside. Once you kind of see it, you get a little bit better with, I go do my 8 hours in a day. I come in here and I do 8 hours. I'll be in here until midnight studying, trying to put in an index on it. And so for me, you got to say, hey, Ted, why would you shut down the mill?
What was the price? Just ask one media crew. How about the NBC Sports crew who was in the city this last weekend? They were robbed at gunpoint Saturday morning trying to do their job. to cover something in
You can't go all left and all right with this stuff inside here. You have to look at the information like it's the infrastructure build and then start rebuilding your own. So I'm taking the equation. I'm saying it's Ted's shop. What seems right here? Is that tone in the conversation something that happens amongst the brothers and sisters sometimes down there? What's the issue? What would that issue be close to inside of there? What are several ranges of those options? Because where's EBC sitting right now?
The CEOs of Target,
like you want to bitch, but when it comes to getting in the Ted's office and getting in there, grabbing a hold of it, or running for a vote, or putting up a candidate you represent, or even showing a candidate and why the standards of those things are represented in such a way, you burn them down. You tell me that the CVS numbers around later are going to affect my market, and you're not even paying attention to the whole index. And why you don't understand why the T numbers play over. Or why somebody comes raids the news station.
They've taken the L. They've moved on. How about those CEOs? Here in New York City, by the way, outgoing mayor and world-renowned Bigfoot impersonator, Bill de Blasio, he's turning a blind eye to crime. It's filled the streets of the Big Apple. Under de Blasio, murders have jumped significantly from 269, that's back in 2017.
Why the two-face? Masquerade? Excise going to shoot you for what? Saving civilians? Getting a jump on the job? Putin's ideas of sanctions in here. He's gonna bitch at you about the sanctions and making criminals is what that is, huh?
Crimes in New York City down 11% over 8 years, and we did it bringing police and community closer together. So the key,
yeah, this asshole, because if at this level they still don't have that either, and there's always going to be, hey, look, it's a necklace of diamonds, right? And there's supposed to be all 45s, but every once in a while that diamond grinder got a little drunkard walk problem, and well, it's a 42 or a 46 or on the grind today, and you cut that bitch up and you eat it. You fucking right you do. It's 1 to 1 to 1 to 1 to 1. They are all the same weight inside of here. Everybody gets what they get.
Been soft on crime, not just in big cities, but all across this country. And the American people.
And people forget about that upper limit. You can obviously tell by the market today. I posted one last night. Wow, the growth on that thing. Are you kidding me? And they're tearing off. And on the other side of that, it's because you guys are leading like this. You allow this conversation to come out, which is a feedback loop on your information. It's what's the cost? You know, you're not in control of that riot. The bullets are flying everywhere inside here, and you want fucking anarchy. Well, you don't need anarchy. Chaos is Plank, dude. You know, order, chaos, Plank. You know, you put something like Plank 2, it's going to create chaos. As you pull something out, somebody's going to try to make it. Doesn't matter how you go at that. So like I said, just write down the manager, Mayor Bill. Fucking put it in there. You got the newscast out here. You got something to fucking say, Tucker.
Is that who you want to see? The second gentleman? Look, I'm not hating on Doug.